Heisman contenders, March Madness Cinderellas, Olympic-level talent. The energy of college athletics is unmatched, and every week we highlight the most incredible performances, the biggest upsets, and the breakout stars that will become the next generation of professional legends. If it's trending, if it's dominating the headlines, it is officially noteworthy. Get ready for your all-access pass to the collegiate sports world. Welcome to Noteworthy in the NCAA, brought to you by the Empty the Bench Network. Now, let's join your host, Will Charlton.
Episode of Noteworthy in the NCAA here on the Empty the Bench Network. I'm your host, Will Charlton. Happy to have you with us on this Monday afternoon. Joining me once again on the program, my good friend Zain Bando. Zain, man, what a crazy first two rounds we had. Happy to have you on to talk some hoops today.
Yeah, thanks for having me on again, Will. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And before we jump into things here, make sure to check out all of our shows on youtube.com/ETB Network. Follow us across all social media platforms at ETB Network. That's on Twitter/X, Instagram, TikTok, whatever it may be. Make sure to follow on the podcast that Zain and I are a big part of, Forever Power 5 at FP5ETB on Twitter/X and Instagram, and then at Forever Power 5 on TikTok. You can follow me on Twitter at Will Charlton H13. Zain at Zain Bando 99. You can follow me on TikTok and Instagram, Will Charlton TV. Zain, same handle on Instagram, and then on TikTok, he's just at Zain Bando. And this show should be a fun one today, Zain. Like I said, these first two rounds had a lot of crazy things to them, a lot of insane games. I'm going to get the updated bracket on here so we can have that as a reference point too. But to start things off, Zain, I think obviously the biggest headline was yesterday in the Sunday games. The shocker of the tournament. Alvaro Folgares hits a three-pointer with what was on the clock? 4 seconds left.
Mm-hmm.
And Iowa stuns the defending national champion Florida Gators in the round of 32. A 12-loss Iowa team who I won't say they snuck into the tournament, but this was the 9 seed in the Big Ten, the 9th best team in the Big Ten. And all of a sudden, I think the biggest storyline is that the Big Ten, a conference that usually struggles mightily in the tournament, has 6 teams in the Sweet 16. What a showing this weekend from the Big Ten Conference.
Yeah, what a showing from the Big Ten for sure. That's now 6 teams to advance to the Sweet 16. By the way, just to throw some numbers at you, pretty sure this is according to ESPN Analytics. It's the most Big Ten teams remaining in the field since 1979, and the first time that 2 Big Ten teams will be playing each other in the Sweet 16 since 1980. How about that?
Well, I also think that the crazy thing about it, too, is that of all the Big Ten teams that could be playing each other, it's Nebraska who's in its first ever Sweet 16 after that just insane ending against Vanderbilt. We'll talk about that in a second. But Nebraska is playing Iowa, 2 rival schools that, let's say at the beginning of the year that we heard that a Big Ten matchup in the Sweet 16 was going to happen. I wouldn't say Nebraska, Iowa. I'd say, okay, maybe Michigan State's going to play like Ohio State or something like that, or maybe Michigan's going to play Illinois or something like that. No, it's Nebraska and Iowa.
Yep. And it's 2 teams that have played each other twice.
Yep.
You could say one of those 2 games was significantly better than the other one. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I mean, it's certainly very, very interesting. And obviously, you want to talk about 2 teams with underdog stories. I think that's the epitome of that. So
100%.
I mean, just to even kind of go back to what you originally led this off with Iowa, I mean, that was a no-quit group whatsoever. They got through horrible officiating. They just simply kept fighting. Yep. And I mean, it's clear that McCollum got in Todd Golden's head. That was really that was really interesting. Shout out to the behind the scenes crew. They got all of those shots to really kind of take us inside the emotions of both of those guys. And it sucks. And by the way, this is a shameless plug for ETB Sports, but Nick Morganson and myself, but mainly him, he was visibly disappointed to see that, now all the NCAA video restrictions are coming into place, because what I was going to tell you was a cinematic recap of that game would be unbelievable.
Right.
So, I mean, it just goes to show the level of just tremendous parity that we had in that game. And then, of course, the way to end it, and to see that his mom hadn't seen him play in 2 years, and for him to win the game the way he did was just unbelievable. And to be quite honest with you too, like, Florida beat themselves. They had a pretty considerable lead, and they kind of let it slip away. And when you let these Iowa teams hang around, they can usually bust you. So it's really cool to see that they've made it as far as they have. Ben McCollum in his first season in the post-Fran McCaffrey era. Does it end in a couple of days? I'm not so sure, but I think Nebraska is going to give Iowa everything in the kitchen sink and then some. It's going to be unbelievable.
Yeah, we can preview that matchup among other games to talk about in a little bit here. But yeah, I mean, I think just like looking back at that Florida-Iowa game, when the Gators went up by, I think it was 4 points late in the second half, I was like, okay, so Iowa's magic is run out. Florida's going to start kind of building the lead. And then no, all of a sudden, I can't remember who it was that hit the big three. It might have been Sturts, or maybe it's just a big two to cut back into it. But I think Sturts I think he got to the rim and made it a 2-point game again. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. And then from there, just Iowa kind of found a way to maintain and just kept playing that physical Big Ten ball they know. And one thing that was like, when I was watching this game, I was like wondering what Iowa was doing on the offensive end for so long in the final stretch of the second half, because they would just give Sturts the ball at the top of the key with like 15 seconds left of the shot clock, and no one's doing anything. Like, it was like straight isolation ball for Sturts.
Right, exactly.
And he still found a way to knock off a Florida team who, before their loss to Vanderbilt, had won 15 of 16 games.
Yeah, and not just 15 of 16 games. You could argue between 8 and 12 of them were significant wins. Like, we're talking like we're talking like games where the game was decided with 15, 16 minutes to go in regulation.
Yeah. I mean, they beat Arkansas by 34 in one of those games. And Arkansas was the second best team in the league. Obviously, they won the conference championship, but in the regular season, that was the second best team in the league.
Unreal.
Before that loss to Vanderbilt,
go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, like, before that loss to Vanderbilt in the SEC semifinals, Florida had probably been playing the best basketball of any team in the country. You could say that.
Oh, for sure.
So it's just mind-boggling that they get upended by a 12-loss Iowa team. But, I mean, hands off to Ben McCollum. He has done a sensational job. And
this is also this is just what makes it just so just ridiculous. Is 10, 15 days ago, this is the same Iowa team that we were discussing after they lost to Ohio State.
Yeah, literally.
Like, it literally doesn't make any sense.
No. I mean, like, Iowa lost in the first round, or I get, what would it be, technically the third round of the Big Ten tournament?
The third round, but their first game of the tournament.
Yeah. So I think that's technically like the third round, I think they call it now, because they have the 6-day tournament. But it's just like,
right, that would make sense, because it would go the third round and then the quarterfinals.
Yes.
Yep.
So Iowa loses to Ohio State in its first Big Ten tournament game. They were still a tournament lock. Like, they were still safely in the field. But it's just like,
they had probably been safely in the field, wouldn't you argue, though, like 2 weeks earlier?
Probably. I would say this too. Like, the thing about Iowa is that when they took Michigan to the brink in that senior night game they had,
which is a game they could have easily won.
Frankly, probably should have.
They just simply ran out of gas.
Yeah. So you look at this Iowa team, it's like they know how to beat Nebraska. They've already done it once, and they almost did it again in Lincoln. They forced overtime against them in Lincoln.
Yeah, so which, by the way, that ending was controversial in itself.
Yeah,
So
it was for sure.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, you never know. You never know, but it's two teams on a neutral floor, and I'm sure whoever loses, man, dude, they're gonna be bitter about that for the next 364 days and beyond.
Oh, yeah.
And because if you want to talk about, and now this may sound like a very one-sided viewpoint, but I've never really fully considered Iowa and Nebraska basketball rivals. Whenever I think of them, I more so associate their Thanksgiving football game every year.
Yeah, exactly.
But dude, if this game is anything like if this game is anything like the second time these two teams played, you might have a very interesting sort of, I guess, new fresh modern spin on an old school Big Ten series that hasn't gotten the love it's probably deserved in 30 years. And and now these two teams have a chance to do that and much more, which I think is very cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're talking about, like I said, Nebraska's first time ever in the Sweet 16, Iowa's first time since 1999. So that's setting up a really fun matchup down in Houston, Texas.
Yeah. I mean, and we're going to get to this in a second, but to have three Big Ten teams in Houston, if you would have told me that 14 days ago, I don't know if I would have believed it.
I know.
I would have said maybe one, but three, unreal.
Yeah.
Unreal.
It's stunning. And, speaking of another team that's into the Sweet 16 for the first time since 1999, how about the Johnnies? Rick Pitino and the Johnnies. St. John's heading to the Sweet 16. Yeah, Dylan Darling scores a game-winning layup after Kansas stormed all the way back, tied the game, played that final sequence perfectly beside the final 3 seconds. I mean, they had so many fouls to give. They take every single one they could. St. John's left with 3.5 seconds left, something like that. And then they don't even double team the one guy who could do anything with the ball because he had no time to pass it off.
Unbelievable.
Like they played that final sequence perfectly, except when they should have played it perfectly.
They really did. They really did. But and you may feel similarly. Any day that Bill Self loses in heartbreaking fashion is a great day. So
I can't disagree when we're in this right now,
But I have to admit, before he hit that shot, I was fully expecting the game to go to overtime.
Oh, me too.
I'm like, okay.
It's like St. John's they're gonna get off a bad look here. Like they're gonna get us some sort of contested 2 or a 3 that's not gonna go in.
Right.
No, they get a wide open lane to the hoop.
Right. Or I was thinking to myself before he won the game, I'm like, he's going to drive. He's going to get fouled. They're not going to call it. And people are going to go crazy. But luckily it ended up working out and they won. Mm-hmm. But to be fair, though, I do think when you really look at the matchup on paper, I would argue that the better team probably won. I mean, you can't. I mean, you can't go through all that controversy if you're Kansas with the whole Darren Peterson thing and expect to be fully out of the doghouse. And look at where they ended up. You know what I mean?
I think when you look at it from Kansas's perspective, like when they went on, let's go back to when they won those 2 big Monday games earlier in the year. They beat Arizona on a Monday to give Arizona its first loss of the year. Then they beat Houston on a Monday, and I think kind of crushed them. Yeah, they kind of crushed Houston.
Houston, I think they won by between 15 and 17.
It was double digits. I know that for a fact. Kansas is sitting in a really good spot. Then all of a sudden they lose a game at home to Cincinnati, and then they get crushed in the Big 12 tournament by Houston, and next thing you know, they get up huge against Cal Baptist early. They let their foot off the gas. Cal Baptist almost comes back and pushes them to the brink. And to start the game against St. John's, they get down early.
Right.
And next thing you know, they're around a 32 exit. So I think when you look at this from Kansas perspective, what a disappointing end to your year after you won back-to-back big Monday games against Arizona and Houston.
Well said. And this, you may agree with this comparison, you might not. It appears to me, based on what I've seen, they're doing the inverse of what Illinois did at the end of the year, where Illinois was struggling. And then all of a sudden, ever since it's turned to being the NCAA tournament, they've turned back into an entirely different team, whereas Kansas was doing the exact opposite at the end of the regular season.
Totally.
I don't know. It's very very interesting.
Yeah.
So
I want to get through all these crazy finishes first, and then we can talk about our Illini.
sure.
So let's go back to that Nebraska Vanderbilt game, right?
Would you say though that the comparison I just made is very fair to make?
Sure, for
It's
sure.
almost
Because obviously
huge
Illinois, I mean,
contrast.
it was 4-5 in the last 9 games, and they lose that Big Ten quarterfinal to Wisconsin, and then they look phenomenal in the first 2 games of the tournament. I mean, they had some of the weird lulls we've seen throughout the whole year where they can't really score a bucket for a few extended minutes, and then next thing you know, like they kind of just need a spark. And obviously, Andrei Stojakovic played that role against VCU. David Mirkovic was phenomenal again in every single facet possible against Penn. Yeah. I mean, Illinois. Like we'll get back to that in a couple minutes here, but
sure.
Yeah, talking about that Nebraska Vanderbilt ending. I mean, the 2 4-5 matchups we had. Sorry, we had 3, but 2 of the 4 or 5 matchups we had were just sensational basketball games. I mean, Nebraska gets up early against Vanderbilt, and you're looking at it like this is a Nebraska home game. I could not believe how loud that arena was. I mean, Oklahoma City is not exactly close to Lincoln, Nebraska by any means either. It's 6.5 hours away.
No, but they made that feel like it was a postseason.
That was unbelievable.
Pinnacle Bank Arena. It was unreal.
I mean, I cannot believe how that place was just painted red.
Yeah. Like,
that was nuts. I saw a stat that I'm pretty sure I saw it on Instagram, and it was
okay.
This stat said that arena was louder than the average decibel level of a Thunder playoff game last year.
Wow.
115 decibels was the loudest it reached.
Well, considering, Will, that Nebraska really doesn't have any professional sports besides
that's their team. The Huskers are their team.
100%. I was going to say, considering that Nebraska doesn't have any other professional sports besides the Supernovas, it makes a ton of sense why so many people continue to pack it in the NCAA tournament, because as you just alluded to, that is 100% their team, without a doubt. Just like Iowa is the people's team in Iowa City, because they don't have professional sports either.
Right. So obviously, Vanderbilt has the 4-point lead late in the game, and you're sitting here thinking to yourself, like, Tyler Tanner just took over this game. Vanderbilt's going to win. Like, Vanderbilt is to storm back. They're in front. There's only like 2 minutes to go. I honestly
thought they were about to go up by 6.
I know.
That's what I thought.
Because when I think it was Okereke. Yeah, it was Okereke who hit the 3 from the corner to put him up for. I was like, that might be the early dagger. I mean, I think Vanderbilt might just seal this one. Next thing you know, they don't score again. And all of a sudden, 2-point game. It's tied. Then Vanderbilt has the ball with, like, what was it? 35 some odd seconds left.
35.7 or something. Yeah.
And then they get a bad look. They don't have a good look. And next thing you know, Nebraska's running in transition. Braden Frager, wide open cut to the lane. Nebraska on top. And then with 2.2 seconds left, Tyler Tanner sends up a prayer. And I think the ghost of Gordon Hayward was in that building. Because that was seriously one of the most head-scratching things I've ever seen. How does that shot not go in?
Unbelievable.
I mean, how does that half-court shot not go in? I wish we could play a video for you guys of it in case you didn't see it. I'm sure the people watching have seen it, but just how on earth does that shot from Tyler Tanner not go in? I mean, he did everything right there. It looked so good off his hand. Like, literally when I went in and out, I like stood up and I was like, oh my God. I seriously could not believe it.
Movie type stuff.
Unreal, man.
Movie type stuff.
Like, it was just insanity to seriously, like, see that. And, hats off to Fred Hoiberg. I mean, the thing is, like, he has been through so many shitty seasons at Nebraska. Like, he has been through countless years where they've been a bottom 4 team in the Big Ten, where they've been lucky to maybe go 9-11 in the league. Right. And obviously they had
this was dating to when we were at Illinois and they were when they were continuing to do that, which where they could barely
Mhm.
scratch and claw, and they might pull off a few upsets here and there,
Yeah.
but nothing remotely close to what they're doing now. No way.
And when you look at it, like they had the good team with Tominaga a couple of years ago. I mean, that was a fun group. That was a fun group. They finished third in the Big Ten that year, and they didn't win the tournament game though. I think it was Texas Tech who beat them in the 7-10 matchup.
That's right. I remember that.
Texas A&M. Texas A&M.
That's right. Yep.
And maybe it was an 8-9 game. I can't remember, but either or. It was a 7-10 or 8-9.
7-10.
Yeah. So hats off to Fred Hoiberg. I mean, the thing is, like, they were picked 16th in the Big Ten this year, preseason. I'm pretty sure it was 16th. It was 14th or 16th, one of those two. And here they are now in their first ever Sweet 16, finishing, what was it? They finished third in the Big Ten. No, they finished second.
Yeah.
Would have been no, it would have been it would have been second because Purdue beat them. Yeah, it would have been second.
Right.
So
hey, by the way, just for some further context, Nebraska in the preseason media poll was picked number 14.
So it was 14. Okay. It was 14. Gotcha. But yeah, hats off to Fred Hoiberg. They're having a great year.
And by the way, I know I know this is unrelated, but you want to talk about the unbelievable unpredictability of this league, dude. They had Oregon picked all the way at number 5 in the preseason, dude.
And Oregon turned out to be like the worst team in the league.
I know.
But granted, they had a handful of injuries and stuff like that. Losing Shellstad early in the year really hurt.
No, for sure. I'm just saying to see the stark contrast of some of these teams to where they actually ended up is unreal, dude. Unbelievable.
I know. Yeah. So some other key results from the round of 32, Texas, a first 4 team in the Sweet 16, they get by Gonzaga. And I will say this, like, I think that Gonzaga once again was overseeded. I know they only had 3 losses, but when you look at that top, let's say 16 in the country, Gonzaga had by far the worst loss of any of them. And they had a quad 4 loss on their resume. I don't think any other team in the top 16 had a quad 4 loss.
It was to Portland, right?
Portland.
Yep.
Quad 4 loss. So that is, I think, like, when you look at a team like St. John's, for instance, who's a 5, or even Louisville, who's a 6, like, those 2 teams right there are in KenPom rating a lot higher than their seeding was in the tournament.
Right.
Gonzaga, I know they were like 14, 15 in KenPom.
Yeah.
But still, with their resume they had, like, I know they won the WCC again. Congratulations. Great job, guys, I guess. That was not a 3 seed. That team was not a 3 seed.
No,
let's be honest here. Nebraska should have been ranked higher than them. St. John's should have been ranked higher than them. Or I think Arkansas had a case to be ranked higher than them. I think those 3 teams definitely did. Even a team like Vanderbilt. I think Vanderbilt should have been higher than Gonzaga, personally. I mean, I see, like, that whole section of ranking right there, and I'm just kind of, like, confused how Gonzaga ends up being higher than a Vanderbilt. How to be higher than a St. John's, a Nebraska, Arkansas. Like, I don't really get it. But
I don't either.
Yeah. So Texas gets by Gonzaga without Braden Huff. The Zags back-to-back years of a round of 32 exit after they had, 9 straight years in the Sweet 16, I think it was.
Yep.
Going in last year. But they ran into Houston in the second round last year, so that was pretty tough. But yeah, hats off to Sean Miller and the Longhorns, who now have a date with the Boilermakers of Purdue in Sweet 16.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting. That's another rant in itself. I'm not a huge fan of some of these regions that are going to be continuing through, just in regards to where some of these teams were placed. But it is what it is. It is what it is, though.
Yeah, I mean, Purdue got the last 2 seeds, so it kind of makes sense they have to go west. But let's see. So also, I will say this too. Alabama looked phenomenal last night against Texas Tech. Oh my goodness. I mean, Alabama looked phenomenal.
They really did.
And I'll tell you what, if they play like that they could give Michigan a real scare in the Sweet 16.
It's gonna be a great game. And
Yeah.
this is the shameless plug that I will be at the Midwest Regional this week. I will get a chance to see Michigan, Alabama, and Iowa State, Tennessee. So I'm very excited to see how those play out. And then, of course, I will be there for Sunday's regional final, which it should be great. And yeah, you're 100% right.
Yes.
Alabama looks really good.
Yeah. So that should be interesting. And then the last game I kind of want to get to here before we head back to talk about our Fighting Illini briefly is Tennessee upsets Virginia. So we had 3 of the non-top 16 seeds make it into the second weekend. So Tennessee, obviously, I mean, they were like, I'll get the KenPom rankings up here just so I can clarify this. But it is pretty solid. So when you look at it, you got what is it now? I think it's 14 of the top 17 is So it's 14 of the 16 teams that are in the Sweet 16 are top 17 KenPom. So it's pretty like even in that mark.
Yeah, which is good. That means the committee mostly did their jobs correctly.
Right. So, but when you look at like a Tennessee, for instance, Tennessee was ranked 14th in KenPom, and they were above Virginia. How about this too? Like, I will say this: I think the ACC.
Yet they were seated lower than them.
I know, and that's just because of record. But I think when you look at the ACC, for instance, what does it say about the league? I mean, the ACC was just bad this year.
Yeah, it was really
only getting Duke to the second weekend. Like, the ACC was a bad league this year.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. And Duke was
bids. They got 8 teams in.
Yeah. And to be fair, Duke was mainly running away with the league from like early January. Even.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was theirs to lose the whole time.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I think it goes to show how much better some of the other conferences are.
Yeah,
that's what I think.
For sure.
When you have a weaker ACC, that doesn't really help your case, regarding the top-heavy team argument and stuff like that. So I don't. Oh no, I think the remaining team from the ACC that's still left is the rightful one and the most deserving one. I think.
Totally. I mean, obviously they got the crazy scare from Siena. They only won that game by 6 points in the first round.
I know.
That was like, I mean, they were down 11 at halftime. I think it was 43-32 at halftime. Siena was up.
Yep.
And next thing you know, like, we're looking at is like, are we gonna have another 16-1? Like, what? In this modern day era, we're gonna have another 16-1?
Yeah.
But sure enough, Duke just is able to claw back, and Siena didn't make a single substitution in the second half. They played their starters the entire game, which is just like, wow. Okay.
Which made no sense.
Yeah. So, before we move on, I also want to give a quick shout out to High Point. One hell of a weekend for the Panthers. The 12
unbelievable.
Yeah, beat Wisconsin.
And by the way, their coach cutting a WWE promo after beating Wisconsin was awesome.
Did he really? I didn't see that.
Yeah, it was funny. He was ripping the media because the media had said all week that High Point didn't play anyone despite High Point winning 30 games. When Yuvich ends to look at this post game interview, go look it up because it is absolutely iconic.
All right. I'll have to go
he can hang with anybody. That's how we ended it.
Yeah. I remember seeing his post game, like the post game interview they did it on the court with Wisconsin. But
that's the one I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, okay, I've seen it then. Then they gave Arkansas a hell of a game too.
They really did.
It just turned out that one team had Darius Acuff and the other didn't. I mean,
that's
seriously.
exactly right. Which, by the way, shameless plug, Darius Acuff is Stephen A. Smith's favorite player. So
I believe it.
He loves Arkansas.
Darius Acuff is so fun to watch.
He really is.
And then I also want to give a shout out to Miami of Ohio. Just a hell of a year, 32-2. They played their way into the field of 64, beat SMU in the first 4. Showed they belong to deserve.
Okay, well, I need your honest opinion. Should they have really played in a play-in game after only losing one game?
No.
I agree with you.
They should have been a 10 seed. They should have been a 10 seed. They should have stayed or been one of the 11 seeds that Well, I mean, I guess when you look at the other 11 seeds, I mean, you had what? You had South Florida, and then you had VCU. So I mean, they couldn't have been in that spot, but
No.
I think they could have been. I think they could have safely been a 10 seed. I think they could have.
Yeah, I agree.
I think you could have put them against. Funny enough, Miami, Florida. I think you could have put them there instead of Missouri. I think we could have had a Miami matchup in the first round
in St. Louis.
Yeah, I think we could have had that and had Missouri be the playing team because I don't really see what the draw to have Missouri in the at that spot was, especially in St. Louis. I mean, that was mind-boggling to give a 10 seed a home game.
Yeah, and almost an unfair advantage, and they still played poorly.
I mean, what's Columbia from St. Louis? An hour 30 maybe?
Hour and a half.
Yeah, there's a home game for them, and they're a 10 seed.
Yeah.
Come on. We should have had a Miami versus Miami matchup in the first round. But yeah, shout out to the Red Hawks. Phenomenal year. They ran into a Tennessee team who's now in the Sweet 16. So just what you going to do. But that's awesome. They won their playing game, which was actually a home game for them, funny enough, in Dayton.
Yeah.
So yeah. But let's talk about our Illini a little bit here, Zan.
Right.
The Illini just it kind of came in stumbling a little bit, like we talked about. But then next thing you know, the Illini draw that Penn team where had TJ Power who scored 44 and put up 14 rebounds in the Ivy League championship against Yale. And I was sitting on my couch on Selection Sunday, being like, I like the draw. I mean, if we play really well, we should have no problems getting to the Sweet 16. But it's that's the 114 team. It's man, we better be able to shut that guy down.
Yeah,
and sure enough, Buffalo did, but.
Yeah, and sure enough, Illinois was able to do that. But honestly, it was a little scary at halftime looking at the score, going, "Oh, it's 40-30," and then all of a sudden, 75 points in 22 minutes. You're like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah. I mean, Illinois ended up winning the game 105-70, and Davin Mirkovic, man. I mean, what a phenomenal game he had. What was his exact stat line?
29 points and 17 rebounds.
Yeah, and I think that set the Illinois program record for most rebounds in a March Madness game. I think that's what it was.
That's correct.
And then he was the third freshman all time to have 25 and 15, I think, in a tournament game.
That's exactly right. Yep.
Yeah. So what a game for him. He propels Illinois into the second round, where then they play that VCU team where Terrence Hill Jr. scored 34 in that comeback win over North Carolina, which, hey, I'll give VCU a lot of credit. That was a hell of a comeback.
That was awesome.
They're down 19 points in the second half. North Carolina just completely loses its footing, and they take advantage of it. I mean,
I think
VCU played phenomenal in that game.
They really did, but I think most of that UNC loss is on coaching.
Oh, totally. I don't think Hubert Davis is not the guy. I know he played there. And I know the whole plan after Roy Williams retired was to have his protege come up and take over for him. He's not the guy. He's not.
No, he's not. He's certainly not. No way.
So you look at that game too. It's VCU takes the lead 28-26 after Illinois had a phenomenal start. I mean, Illinois gets up, what was it, 13 points early? I think it was 20-8. I want to say it was
20-8 and then 18-6 before that.
Yes. So it was 12 at early on in the game. And you're thinking okay, we're going to have a repeat of Duquesne from 2 years ago. No, it wasn't. It wasn't right away. VCU takes the lead 28-26, and then Andrei Stojakovic happened.
Andrei Stojakovic happened, and then some. And then the second half was just about, for the most part, clean ball movement, scoring the ball. They did have a few careless turnovers, but outside of that, they were turnovers to where they wouldn't have impacted the outcome of the game because of how far behind VCU was. And I mean, to see Underwood win his 300th game as a Division I coach and to do it in that fashion, when it looked like Illinois was really struggling going into the NCAA tournament, is exactly what Illinois was probably hoping would happen, and now is happening going into a huge game Thursday night in enemy territory, essentially, against the Houston Cougars team, while entirely different than the one 3 years ago, knows this Illinois program really well. So,
exactly. And last thing I want to talk about here, Zvonimir Ivasic, dunk of the tournament.
100%.
Dunk of the tournament. On the other end, he blocks Lazar Djokovic's attempt at a dunk. Just stone cold blocks it.
For
Next thing you know, And Ian Eagle had just a terrific call this, and then Bill Raftery said, "Take me to the Balkans, please." Like it was phenomenal. I mean,
Yeah.
When I tell you, like I jumped off my couch and just started screaming. I was like, I cannot replicate my reaction to that live. Like it was just like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I cannot. I could not believe that. That was insane. If for some reason the people watching have not seen it, please go check it out. It's all over social media.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
I don't know if there will be a better dunk in this tournament because even VCU had a phenomenal alley-oop early on in the game. But man, I mean,
dude, I don't know if you've seen this photo. You got to look it up when you can. The News Gazette has this. Like, I don't know who the photographer was, but whoever took this photo deserves a raise. They make Savannah look like a flying Air Jordan in midair as he slams the ball down, and the headlines like flying Big Z or something like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Love it. So yeah, that was one hell of a dunk. So now that we're kind of on this topic, why don't we get into a little Sweet 16 preview here? And now I will share my screen so you guys can see the updated bracket as we're talking about this here.
Okay.
I'm going to head down to the South just because I think this is the place to start.
I think so too.
Illinois-Houston is the game of the Sweet 16. I mean, let's be honest here. This is a Final Four caliber matchup. And I think that when you really look at this matchup from a standpoint of analytics, KenPom has this as number 4 versus number 6, which is by far the top highest rated matchup in the second weekend.
Yeah, I think it's criminal, though. Before we get to the actual game itself, I think it's criminal what time the game starts. I really do. I think it's really
for me,
unfortunate.
it's 8:05 because I'm in Mountain Time, but I know for you it's 9:05, which is I actually I got to go back to the 2024 when I was in Boston for the Sweet 16 against Iowa State. That game tipped off at 9:45 Eastern Time.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, literally it was 10 p.m. at the first media timeout.
If
not sooner. So it was man. So yeah, the tip time is kind of brutal, but man, when you look at this matchup, this is currently the 2nd ranked offense according to KenPom against the 4th ranked defense and the 10th best offense against the 24th ranked defense. Illinois has been rising up a little bit on the defensive margin. They played phenomenal on the defensive end against VCU. I mean, arguably you could say it was probably the best defensive performance we've seen all year from Illinois in the game against VCU. You really probably could say that.
Yeah, you could.
And I think when you look at this game from a metrics standpoint, it's just it's a numbers guy's dream of a basketball game. It's such a shame that one of these two teams has to be eliminated from the field this early on. It really is.
Yeah, it really is.
Houston is giving 2.5 points in the game so far in the opening spread. I think that's about right. This is a pseudo home game for Houston. I mean, not a pseudo, it literally is a home game for Houston. The South Regional is in Houston.
Well, the South Regional is in Houston, but they aren't the host. The host is Rice University.
Right.
But I get your point.
Right. I mean, the Toyota Center where the Rockets play is where the South Regional is being hosted, and that is 2 miles away from Houston's campus.
Yeah, it's essentially a home game.
So, but here's the thing, though. I will say this: obviously, there's the main group will probably be all Houston fans, I'd assume. But guess what? Iowa fans travel well. Nebraska fans travel very well, apparently. We just saw that. Illinois fans travel very well. So
Illinois fans will show up for sure. There's no doubt. There's no doubt about it.
I'm sure the main contingent will be Houston fans, and rightfully so.
Yes.
But there will be a lot of corn enjoyers at this game.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
So yeah, this is the game of the second weekend, hands down. I'm super excited for it. Like I said, it's such a shame that either the 4th best team or 6th best team, according to KenPom, has to be out before the Elite Eight, but it's just the way the brackets work. Illinois kind of did it to itself, not getting a 2 seed when they kind of
very
long time.
No, very, very well said.
Yeah.
They could have played into a 2 seed and they played themselves out of it.
Yep.
So
I mean, if Illinois wins that game against Wisconsin, you're more than likely still in that 2 line. I think that loss is what dropped them down ultimately.
I think so. And I think ultimately if you're sitting on that 2 line, you're probably playing Nebraska or Iowa instead of how it is now.
Yep. Yep. So that's just the way the brackets go. Scrolling up now to the Iowa-Nebraska matchup. It's just it is so funny to me that this is a Sweet 16 game.
It's hilarious.
Like objectively,
we might as well move it to the middle of Nebraska because dude, Nebraska and Iowa and Houston is just unreal.
It's hilarious.
It really doesn't make logical sense.
No.
Why a Big Ten game, a literal Big Ten game, is taking place in Houston, Texas, of all places.
I know. Like, obviously, I get the whole thing that it's like the neutral court and whatever, but I don't know. It's funny, but Nebraska is given 1.5 in the opening line. I think that's probably about right. I think that just has to do with seeding and better record.
I think so too. But, I think so too. Yep.
Iowa can certainly win that game. I mean, Iowa can certainly win that game.
Oh yeah, and, without a doubt.
We'll give our picks in a little bit here. Michigan State, UConn should be phenomenal. UConn's giving 2.5 so far in the opening line. UConn definitely, I think, played the way we were expecting them to look against the UCLA team without Tyler Bilodeau.
Correct. Yes,
I would agree with UCLA to upset UConn this round, thinking that Bilodeau would be healthy.
I did too, and we were both wrong.
Yeah. Yep. When I found out Bilodeau wasn't playing yesterday, I was like, well, shoot, there goes my pick.
Yep.
I pretty much just gave up on it right away. But yeah, this whole East region is it's stacked, man. I mean, you got just 4 phenomenal coaches in this region. You got John Shire going against arguably the best coach in the sport, Rick Pitino, one of the best coaches of all time. And then you got Tom Izzo against Dan Hurley. Like,
dude, we've got scalper tickets going for $1,100.
Is that right?
For this region, yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, this region is stacked. So these games are on Friday night here in Washington, D.C. Both games should be phenomenal.
That's correct.
I'm super, super stoked to see these two play out. I mean, they should both be just incredible games. And then in the West, Arizona, after kind of surviving a little pulse from Utah State at the end of that game, they get Darius Acuff in Arkansas. That should be a really fun game too. I look at that initial spread of 7.5, and I'm like, man, if I'm a betting man, it's kind of hard to not want to take the Arkansas side of that.
That's what I'm kind of thinking too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think
7.5 points is a lot.
Yeah, I think
especially when Arizona hasn't gotten past the Sweet 16 since 2015.
Yeah, and they haven't made the Final Four since 2001. So
yeah,
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
they won it all in 99, I think it was.
Correct. Yeah, but they made the Final Four in 2001, and obviously they got busted in the Elite Eight by Illinois, of course, in 2005. Yep. So so it's been quite a long time since they've been in a similar position post Sweet 16 to where we're talking about them. Okay, can they advance? But yeah, I just think Arkansas with Acuff, he's gonna take them as far as they want him to go. So
I agree. Texas, Purdue minus 6.5. I think that's probably about right.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is the easiest pick of the whole Sweet 16.
Me too. I like Purdue there by that spread for sure.
If Purdue somehow loses, I will be blown away.
Me too. With how they're playing right now, I'd be kind of stunned if they lost that game. I mean, they've already beaten a seed higher than Texas, and I don't know. Some people are calling it the Cam Heidi revenge game.
Yeah. Good point. No kidding. No kidding.
People. I haven't heard anyone say that besides me.
I've actually heard that on Twitter a few times.
Have you?
Yeah, if you go into the bowels of Purdue Twitter, you'll find it. Yeah.
And then your region, Zan, where you'll be at some games. Michigan minus 10.5 against Alabama. Man, that is a big spread.
It's a big number, dude. But me having seen Michigan, this will now be my, I think, 6th Michigan game in person this year. Dude, every single time I've watched them play, except for Purdue, I'm like, this team is just unbelievable.
Yeah.
So really, I mean, unless Alabama catches fire early and makes it a track meet, I don't know if they'll be able to keep up.
Well, and here's the thing too. It's like
you want to compete with that size. It's way easier. It's way easier said than done.
Yeah. Oh, whoops. There we go. So yeah, I think that Michigan's probably rightfully so favored by that much. By far the biggest spread of the second weekend. And then Iowa State Tennessee is an intriguing matchup because I think Tennessee can definitely give Iowa State one hell of a game, especially if Joshua Jefferson's still out.
They sure can. The big question though is going to be if Iowa State's paint presence is going to play the same way it has all year, because when they're physical in the paint, they're very difficult to beat.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I think Tennessee's going to have to match those guys. And as you just said, the status of Jefferson is going to say a lot about how that game is going to go.
Absolutely.
I just think it's brutal, dude, from a travel standpoint. You're asking Tennessee. I didn't touch anything unless you were, there you go. Anyway, as I was saying, I think it's brutal from a travel standpoint too. You're asking Tennessee and Iowa State to travel all the way to Chicago, third biggest media market in the country, and you're not going to play the game until 10:10 Eastern. That is just brutal on the whole psyche of everything. Those guys are going to be exhausted. It's going to be brutal.
Yeah, that's the way it goes, though. I guess sometimes in these regionals with having to start the games a little later.
Yep.
So yeah, let's go back to the South, Zan. Who do you got in the Elite Eight?
So I am sticking with my similar predictions that I've had for a bit, but now some of the matchups have changed, of course. So we like Houston over Illinois, and I actually like Iowa to knock out Nebraska.
I got the exact same two picks. The exact same two picks.
Okay.
In the East, I'm going with Duke and Michigan State.
Yeah, that sounds about right. This feels like a spot where Izzo's teams usually shot. And so I like a little bit of Big Ten flavor here too. I think Duke Michigan State is a house money heavyweight, a tight matchup for the regional final there. So we're going to take that as well. So
how about the West?
I like Purdue versus Arkansas. That's what I like.
Wow, so you got Arkansas over Arizona.
Yep, because I have Arkansas in my original Final Four, so I got to go. So I got to go with it.
Sure,
I got to go with it.
Yeah,
and I also have Houston in my original Final Four, so I have to keep that too.
Yeah, both our Final Fours are still intact. So I will say this too. I am going with my national champion to play Purdue. I'm going Arizona to face Purdue in that regional final.
Okay.
And then I'm going to stick with my Elite Eight pick from the get-go in the Midwest. I got Iowa State and Michigan.
I have Iowa State and Michigan as well, but I have Michigan advancing to the Final Four, though.
So do I. So, I mean, both our Final Fours are still intact. Last thing we'll talk about here on the program for today, I'm still sticking with my Final Four pick of Houston versus Michigan State, and then Arizona versus Michigan. I'm still sticking with my original Final Four pick.
Yeah,
actually, I might have switched that late. I think last Monday I said that Duke was going to be Michigan State. I changed my mind. I got Michigan State beating Duke in the regional final.
You did. You're right, which means on the contrary, I have to switch my pick because I have Duke winning the whole thing. I almost forgot. So gotcha. I have so my Final Four is still good. It's Duke, Houston, Michigan, and Arkansas.
Okay.
So
yeah,
which means by default Michigan State is going to be eliminated. So
yeah, fair enough.
Yep.
Fair enough.
But I feel extremely confident with the remaining teams that are left that my Final Four is going to get through. The only one that would excite me a great bit for selfish reasons is if Illinois gets to the Final Four, because if they do, I will be because if they do, I will be there. So yeah.
If Illinois can beat Houston, I'd be jumping for joy.
My dad thinks that if Illinois beats Houston, that the Final Four, given who they would have to potentially play in the Elite Eight, is very possible.
Oh,
So,
yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, Illinois has beaten Iowa and Nebraska this year. So it's like they already know how to do it. Why can't they do it again? And it's not like a situation where it's like Illinois beat one team twice, where it's really hard to beat a team a third time.
Right.
No,
right.
they've only beat Iowa. They beat Iowa one time when they played in Iowa City, and then they went 1-1 against Nebraska. So actually, a rubber match would be pretty fun. It's really funny to think though, from the Iowa and Nebraska standpoint, that if they win, if whoever the winner of that game is, and if Illinois wins, they have to win back-to-back Big Ten games to get to the Final Four. That's pretty funny to think about.
No, he is. And I was going to say too, Illinois-Iowa this year was the lone matchup of the whole year. There was no game in Champaign. So it would be a rematch whichever way you slice or dice it. Before we do go though, what would be your most unlikely regional final if it were to happen that you would potentially least expect out of all the teams that are left in this thing? What would make you say, wow, I absolutely know nothing about picking games?
I mean, maybe if Texas beats Purdue, and then if it's like I don't know, to be honest. Like, I mean, if Illinois, Iowa would be just kind of a shocker to me.
Illinois, Iowa would be very surprising.
I think Alabama getting by Michigan would really surprise me.
I would be surprised with an Alabama-Tennessee regional final.
Yeah, that'd be pretty wild.
That's what I would be really surprised about.
That'd be pretty wild. I mean, we live in a world where we can get 2 SEC regional finals and a Big Ten regional final. That is hilarious.
Yeah, it is. And I was going to say, I'd be just as surprised if it's Michigan, Tennessee too. I'd be really surprised.
I wouldn't be stunned if Tennessee wins that game though, with how they've been playing. I really wouldn't be, because
I wouldn't be surprised if they won. I'd be more surprised that they'd be playing each other though.
Like you're saying, the matchup of Michigan, Tennessee.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Because more than likely the one that I'm expecting is Michigan, Iowa State. So I would be surprised. Yeah.
Gotcha. I hear you. Well, that's all the time we got for this episode of Noteworthy in the NCAA. Thanks for tuning in on this Monday once again. Be back next Monday to recap the second weekend and preview the Final Four before we have a national championship preview show in a couple Mondays. But Zain, fun having you on again. Thanks for hopping on.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Will. Good luck with your Final Four, and I guess good luck to my Final Four too, considering it's still intact. And let the chaos of the very weird tip times begin officially on Thursday.
That's right. Should be a really fun Sweet 16 Elite 8. So he's Zain Bando. I'm Will Charlton. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next time.
Have a good one.